Hello, Murray Newlands with the Future of Engagement, here with David Spark from Spark Media.
Spark Media Solutions.
Spark Media Solutions, thank you. So David is a contributor to Mashable on the one side, as well as a regular video contributor and content creator for IndyCar racing. David, why is content creation so popular right now? Why is it getting a lot of buzz, and why is it so effective for companies?
I have actually noticed that there's like more and more news about it. It's kind of interesting. The main reason and kind of the model that I have had is content is the currency for social media and search. There is no doubtedly obsession about being traded via social media, being visible in search. And I feel that a lot of organizations have been very misdirected in that they think they can market and PR their way into that, and you can't. While those are great tools for amplification, you can't purely create marketing material or PR material to be traded in social media and search, because people just don't trade that information. They do if that content is entertaining, but in general it's not. So there's always exceptions. So that's why it's just becoming popular, because they realize that. And the other thing that people are breaking away from is that content creation really has to be about whatever the editorial voice of your organization is and of the interest of your audience, not here's our product. So if you're a car company, it may be people who are interested in fixing up their car or fine-tuning their car. If you're giving advice and suggestions on that, that can be content that's valuable to your audience and it builds your brand.
So when you say social currency, explain exactly, you create content either, I know you write blog posts as well as creating video content. You create that content, you give it to the client. How does that work?
So essentially it's an asset that can now be utilized for a multitude of different reasons. It can be something you can share and trade. It's something that your sales team can use as support. So one of the common questions I ask a client is, what are the reasons you're losing sales? And they'll say, oh, well, because they don't know how we're different than company X. And I always say, well, do you have an article or a white paper or a video or something that explains how you're different than company X? And they go, oh, no, we don't. And I go, but yet you just told me that's one of the reasons you're losing sales, top reason you're losing. And, and by the way, that's extraordinarily common, extraordinarily. So the thing that's like right in front of your face is not being solved. So that's always my first comment to any company is, whatever your top 10 reasons you're losing sales, make sure you have content that supports it as assets for your sales staff. That's one way. Second, to be traded via social media, what do you see your audience just trading in general? Not specifically your organization, but just what's trading in general? Why can't you create that yourself? And then there are other issues of like connecting with influencers, getting implied endorsements through influencers just because you're actually interviewing them, publishing that content on your own blog. That's kind of critical. Every company, rarely do I have a situation with a client where I say you shouldn't have a blog. Almost all need to have one.
And when you say traded, you mean shared, liked?
Right, yeah, that's the sort of the grand phrase for all of the above. Yeah, so there's the retweet, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, whether it's liked, shared, how they're sharing and commenting, just how that's sort of getting into the milieu of social media.
And then how can people who've made that content for their own site, how can they get that syndicated out into bigger sites?
Well, it's really about building relationships with the bigger sites. There's two ways to do it. Really huge sites. So if you go to Technorati and just look at the top, say, 20 most popular blogs, they've become so big that they have guest blogger guidelines. Mm-hmm. So you should always contact them first and say, hey, what's your guest blogger guideline? Right. And for those who don't know what guest blogging is, you do it for free. It's 100% free. It's solely for building your brand. But what you get in return for creating content, which by the way, can never be about your company. It just has to be about advice, opinion, or interviews, something like that. You get a blurb at the top, sometimes at the bottom of the post, which just, maybe 2 or 3 links and just a short 1-2 sentence bio, which by the way, can be tremendous in terms of building credibility, getting traffic back to your site, and also, more importantly, essentially building your own sort of backlinks, because we know kind of how Google and all other search engines work. The more sort of credible sites that link to you increases your page rank. So the more of that you can do, that's the better for you.
How can people reach out to you if they want to contact you?
Please go to just sparkmediasolutions.com or sparkminute.com. That's the blog, and all the contact info is there.
David,
thanks a lot.
Thank you. that's going to do it for another episode of The Future of Engagement. Look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.